Hi, this is Peter Hanami with Japanese Customer News, January 16, 2015. I've got 6 stories for you this week. Our first story is about foreign investment. This is reported by William Pesek on Wednesday 13th of January. He mentioned that the more Honda resembles a foreign company, for example in North America now, it generates more than half its revenues for Japan's Honda, the fewer incentives it has to invest in Japan and Japanese workers. Our second story this week is about trade. In particular, it refers to the Japan-Australia Free Trade Agreement. And this was reported on Tuesday 13th of January in GG Press. Now, Japanese automakers are expected to benefit from the new trade deal, with vehicles accounting for some 45% of Japan's overall exports to Australia on a value basis. And tariffs on larger vehicles will be removed within 3 years. Our third story this week is about finance, and this was reported by Rick Wallace on Wednesday, January 14th in The Australian. He mentions that there's a large appetite for Australian dollar fixed income products in Japan. And this is in contrast to an article by Eleanor Warnick in the Wall Street Journal on the 15th of January, where she said the yield on the 5-year Japanese government bond hit zero for the first time, while the benchmark 10-year yield fell to a record low of 0.255%. So we can see in terms of finance why Japanese customers are looking abroad for higher interest on their investments. Our fourth story this week is about trade, and this was reported on Wednesday, the 14th of January in The Australian by Rick Wallace. Now, Japan is the third largest consumer market for many products for Australian firms, yet Australian firms, with only a few to name, have been very small in Japan, and this is apparently due to timidity, cultural and language factors, and the complexity and regulation of doing business in Japan. But hopefully this changes with the new free trade agreement, which started on January 15th. Our fifth story is about society, and this was reported in the Australian Financial Review on the 15th of January. It's a quote from a new book by Taggart Murphy. His book's called Japan and the Shackles of the Past. And he says that predictability in social life and public life makes Japanese cities some of the safest on earth. And finally, our last story is about mergers and acquisitions. This was reported by David Ramley in the Australian Financial Review Thursday, January 15th. He points out that Japanese company Recruit Holdings is set to buy 2 Australian recruitment companies. The first is Chandler McLeod for 382 million Australian dollars. And the second one is Peoplebank, Australia's largest technology firm. Thanks very much for your company, and look forward next week to Japanese Customer News.